Make sure that you honor every step of your journey. Wherever you're at, honor it. Don't be comparing yourself to other people. Don't be wishing that you were somewhere else or you had more money. Honor where you're at so you can get to the next level. So once you honor where you're at, get specific on where you want to go and write a roadmap to make it happen.
Everyone, I just want to welcome you back to Entrepreneur Unleashed. I'm your host, Edward Collins here. Just as you recall, the whole purpose of this particular podcast series is to provide you with vicarious learnings through other individuals, because our goal is to help you shortcut your path in the journey of success. So we're going to jump right in. Today, I'm so excited to have with us in the studio Melitsa Waage. She's the founder of Epic Talks. She's an amazing individual. You guys, pay attention, because the next however long we go, because we're not going to cut it off, because I'm sure there's going to be pearls of wisdom shared with you, you're going to want to pay attention to every single minute. Let's jump right in. Melitsa, thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us your story. I'm so excited to just get started getting to know you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
100%.
Honored to be here.
So typically what we do, we bring a lot of different business owners on this podcast with the purpose of sharing with others your story, because I'm a firm believer that the quickest shortcut is by learning from others. And typically those individuals who have already been through the things that maybe you as a business owner are currently going through, in order to help you just learn vicariously through them. So in order to get to know you better, I want to learn about the young Melitsa. Like tell us about like your how you grew up, where you grew up. Tell me about what those formative years were like for you.
So I didn't have your traditional childhood. Okay. I was actually a foster child. I went into the foster care system at the age of 3. Wow. Okay. I was born into 2 heroin-addicted parents. Okay. That, for me now, that was just such a blessing. I have a great relationship with my biological mother. And yeah, I went into the foster care system until the age of 15. I was with one family from 3 to 15. And then I decided to embark on my journey, on a journey on my own, because, you know, I wasn't feeling happy where I was at.
At age 15?
Yes.
Wow.
So long story short, I ended up basically finding my biological mother, moved in with her for a little bit, didn't like how things were going there, decided to start hopping around in friends' couches.
Wow.
And stuff like that. Ended up getting kicked out of high school and told by my principal that I was just another Latina statistic who would never amount to anything. And I got kicked out of high school, so I ended up having to enroll in a program to finish high school on my own.
Okay. Your GED?
No, I went through like a program, so I got
actual high school diploma.
Yeah, actually a high school program, and I got my my high school diploma.
Okay.
And then I remember at one point I was living out of my car. I was homeless outside of a Walmart parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember it was one of the first Walmarts in the country, actually. It was in Kissimmee, Florida. And I remember parking my car underneath the light and a camera, because I was like, if anything happens, it's on camera, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, I didn't even think it was like a really dark moment in my life. I just thought it was part of the process. You know, I had multiple jobs, you know?
Okay.
And I remember, like, I would even go to, like, the Disney resorts and get ready and take a shower there, because I knew how to get in through, like, the employee entrance.
Okay.
I would pretend like
I
was an employee. I would always try, you know, find a way.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it was pretty interesting, like, how my journey started. And I just knew I started college, and I'm a 2-time dropout, you know, student. I just knew college wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I was sitting there, and I just felt like, you know, this isn't for me. And I said, I know I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to end up happening, you know, one way or the other. Long story short, I left Orlando, and I moved to New York City. And I just embarked on a journey there. I was doing a little bit of modeling, was trying to get into the music industry. And then I just knew that wasn't my path, you know. Ended up meeting my ex-husband, and I told him that I wanted to get into real estate. Okay. So we left New York, came to Florida, and... what year was this? This was around 2006, 2005, 2006, where
coming down to Florida.
Yeah, so when people were like, flipping properties
still when it was,
and
prior to the big collapse.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then we went on a journey hunting for like angel investors that would put up the money, for us to basically do all the work, and we split the profit. So we found that, and we had a couple of properties, and right before the freaking crash, because what happened within 3 to 6 months.
It was, you blinked and
I was like,
wow.
oh my God, we're going to be rich. We're going to be famous. We're going to start our own TV show. Because you remember that's when the TV shows were like popping at that time.
Yeah, went off the charts.
Long story short, that didn't happen. We ended up losing everything, because we had almost just started. So we're like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do now? So then I thought of another idea, which was, starting kind of like a MySpace, but for the hair industry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because that's when MySpace was really hot and stuff like that. And again, with no business education, no business counselors, just like me just thinking that I could just wing it and be fine. Long story short, ended up investing a lot of money into the internet business, and that miserably failed. That led to, after 9 years, that led to like a difficult divorce. And I remember after that, I went down the slopes. Like, I went into a really dark hole. My ex-husband cheated on himself. That's the way I like to say it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's such a beautiful part of my journey. And I see it now, because I wouldn't be who I am today without that betrayal. And I remember going through 2 years of just like partying, hanging out with the wrong people, trying different substances, and just drowning my pain and my sorrows in the wrong areas. And one morning I just woke up and I asked myself out loud, and I looked at myself in front of the mirror, and I said, are you proud of the woman you've become? And I was like, no. So what are you going to do about it?
What made you have the insight to ask yourself that question?
Well, think about my history, right? I'd gone through so much, and I'm going to allow this little betrayal that really has, doesn't even compare to what I went through when I was a child. So you've done so great so far, you've built businesses, you started, and you finished high school, you know what I mean? You've been an amazing wife, and then you're going to let everything go to crap because of this. So I just always knew that I was destined for greatness. Okay. And it doesn't matter what I was going to go through, I was going to overcome that. And that was always my mindset. And
such a powerful mindset, though, because a lot of business owners, they hit a roadblock and then they just stagnate there. They struggle to get through the roadblock or get around the roadblock. But you had some significant challenges, going through a major depression, going through a lot of issues with regard to just trying to figure out how to dampen or deaden, if you will, the feelings you were having at the moment. But you had the insight to say, okay, you're going to let this stop you?
Yeah, I just knew that I'm better than this. And I believe in God, and I feel like he's always guided me. And there's always been that little voice, you got this. I'm with you. You got this. Just keep on going. Trust me, And that's what I did, and once I answered that question in the mirror, I think it was the same day or maybe a couple days after that I saw an ad on Facebook that said, reignite your life, your finances, and your future. Free ticket. And I was like, free ticket? Yeah, I'm like, this must be a cult. At the time, this was like 9 years ago. At the time, I didn't know what personal development was. I didn't even have an idea what personal development was. I didn't even have an idea who Tony Robbins was, So, and he's been around for centuries.
Yeah, it feels like it.
So I ended up contacting one of my girlfriends, Lexi Panos. I don't know if you know of her, but her and her husband are motivational speakers. They're authors. They're just amazing. And I said to her, have you ever heard of this company called Peak Potentials by T. Harv Eker? Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I've heard Peak Potentials.
And she goes, no. She's like, but Melitsa, there's one positive thing I'll tell you. No, she said, there's one piece of advice I'll give you. If there's one positive thing that comes from this, it's a win situation.
Absolutely.
So that was like the best advice I've ever received, like seriously. And I ended up booking my flight, my ticket, my hotel. I went there for 3 days.
Where was it?
This was in California.
In California, okay.
And those 3 days completely changed my life. Did I end up investing $6,500 at the end of the weekend? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it wasn't going to be completely free, but that was like the best investment I've ever made. And I ended up spending 2 years focused on developing my life, my business skills, surrounding myself with the right people, you know, traveling every 2 to 3 months to go to a warrior camp, business camp, you know, real estate camp, you know, and it was all these people that were on the same mission as me, wanting to step into their greatness, wanting to learn more, wanting to surround themselves with better individuals.
So let's unpack that a bit, because I what you just said was truly golden. The things that got you out of where you were was in the self-development arena, the components of which, one, is surrounding yourself with the right people. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what did you do specifically to figure out how to put yourself in the room with the right people?
Once I started getting into this work, the wrong people started falling off.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, you got to come with me. You got to read this book. You da-da-da-da-da. What? No, we're going out tonight. We're da-da-da. We're going to go to Cancun. We're going to go to, you know, wherever, you know, let's go party. I'm like, no, I'm going to change my life, you know? And those people literally just dwindled off.
It's so funny how that happens, right?
Yeah. But in the process of that happening, I was meeting amazing people in other places. And ever since I was little, I'm a people person. Like, I love people. It's very easy for me to get along with people. I treat the janitor like I would treat the president of the United States. You know, nobody's better than anybody, period. You know, and that trickles in every area of your life. You know what I mean? Your energy comes out pure. You know, your intentions are pure. The people you connect with are pure. So my intention was, I was so powerful about my intention that was what I was starting to attract in my life.
When you look at the second component of that, you talked about like filling your head with the right knowledge. Part of that's reading. Yeah. So what types of books were you reading at the time? Do you recall?
Well, Think and Grow Rich, The Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes.
All great titles.
You know, just a whole bunch of books. Keith Ferrazzi, the one that's called Never Eat Alone Again. You know,
these are all good books.
Yeah, so just books that were gonna allow me to speak the right way in the right rooms.
Well, mindset is definitely critical. So you're doing the right things. You're filling your head with the right information.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in the room with the right people.
Yeah.
Like what was the near term result of that? Like what were some of the first things you saw change in your life?
My confidence.
Okay.
You know, just being able to speak to, you know, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, entrepreneurs, you know, like yourself, attorneys like yourself, like, you know, and being able to carry on a conversation, you know, and I'm like, I can do anything if I can get in rooms like this. And what's funny is before I got into being, you know, an author, a speaker, a radio show host, and now owning the #1 networking event in Miami, I was in medical sales.
Okay.
And I worked with orthopedic surgeons. And, you know, as an attorney, you know, that those are some of the hardest doctors to work with, spine, neuro, orthos. And I remember when I first started that business, I didn't have one client. I just had to put myself
you had to go out there and make them.
So what I was doing is I was finding their private events and I would show up. And I, you know, the ladies were just sitting there, right? And they're like, oh, who you here with? And I was like, oh, Dr. John Smith from Nevada Ortho. I would just have no idea. Oh, okay, checked in. They give me a flyer. And I was like, oh, here's Dr. John Smith. What does he do? Oh, you know, joints or whatever, you know what I mean?
Whatever it may be.
And then, like, it was just, like, so much fun.
So I've heard of wedding crashing. I haven't really heard of, like, event crashing. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, these are the doctors I need to meet, the, you know, the total hips, total knees, total shoulders, right? And
the true specialist.
Yeah, and then I would just go to them, oh, I'm Melitsa with so-and-so company. Like, I've heard so much about you. I've been trying to get through your door, but it's hard because you're a receptionist. Like, but once they see me, like, I know I'm charismatic. Obviously, I'm not ugly. You know what I mean? So they're gonna be like,
you can get attention.
Oh,
you can have that
like,
conversation.
go ahead. You know what I mean? And like, they were just like, heck yeah, here's my cell phone. If you have any issues, send me a text.
Wow.
And that's how I built my medical business. And I'm like, well, if I could do this, I could do anything.
How long were you doing that?
I did that for almost a decade.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then, but the entire time I was like in personal development.
Right. So you're constantly developing yourself and building this out.
So once I started seeing how much personal development changed my life, I said, I want to create something that's going to help people change their lives too. Okay. I want to be a speaker. I want to be an author. I want to have my own events that represent who I am. That's going to help people come and learn information from other, successful entrepreneurs on how they did it so they could do it too. Because sometimes you just need that one person. And 100%. I always say you're one connection away from a completely different business, a different life, a different relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So why not create something a platform that's going to provide that for humanity?
Speaking of author, I mean, I saw, obviously, you brought your book. Tell me a little bit about what went into this, detoxifying your mind. Like, this is like your mantra now based on all the personal development that you went through. Fill us in.
So, like I told you, I went through a really dark phase. I got into personal development. I shared the tools and secrets that I use in order to transform my life. Wow. So what is it that I need to get specific about, right? Describing who you are right now, describing who do you want to become, describing what do you need to stop or start doing in your life in order to become the person you want to become, right? Different life assessments and questions to really get specific, like, where are you right now? Are you playing at your highest? So I give them like from 1 to 10, where are you?
So it's a roadmap and a diagnostic material.
It's a roadmap. It's an action guidebook, where you're not just reading, you're actually working through it. And it's working your mind. And it's very simple. You can go through that book within 2 hours, a flight, Wow. And then also I take you to create your life mission statement, And also there's an exercise there for forgiveness, because if you don't forgive, it's poison in your heart and your soul.
I like to say, don't give people rent-free space in your brain.
Exactly.
The best way to do that is to forgive.
Exactly. Forgiveness, burying your past, because sometimes we tend to carry our past into our future, and it truly affects us. 100%. And it's easier said than done, but you get to tap into this every single day. You get to meditate every single day. You get to say gratitudes every single day. You get to practice self-love every single day. So that's what I share in the book.
Wonderful. Now, you obviously then also got into speaking at the same time. So tell me a little bit about that journey.
Well, the speaking started when I thought of the idea of Epic Talks.
Okay.
I hadn't spoken before. The only speaking I had done was to doctors selling in their offices and training other medical sales reps.
And let's unpack Epic Talks then. So you had this, what sparked the idea?
Well, I just basically started feeling a little lonely, and I wasn't meeting other like-minded individuals. I was just meeting people at the lounges or at the restaurants, or we weren't speaking the same language. And I'm like, oh my God, where do I find people that think like me? And I said to myself, well, if it doesn't exist, I'm going to create it. Okay. And I was walking over the bridge in Brickell, and I'm like, who can I do this with where I won't be this nervous? And a girlfriend of mine, she was a law professor at the University of Miami, Alicia Bolchenko. I said, Alicia, if I do a little event, will you speak? Because you're used to speaking in front of students. And she's like, sure. I told her, send me a picture of yourself. I went on Canva that same day. I made my first flyer. It said Epic Life Masters at the time.
That was in 2019?
This was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, Epic Life Masters, 2019, around there, yeah. And then I printed out 100 flyers. I passed them all over downtown. I passed them around Brickell. I went through the buildings where I live, and I passed them out. Mm-hmm. Within the moment of the idea to where it happened, it was 3 days.
Okay.
So I got
Talk
the ballroom.
About fast track.
I got the ballroom. I went to Whole Foods. I got some bottles of wine, some cheese and crackers. And let's see who just shows up. Okay. So my first event, 15 people showed up.
Okay. That's a success.
Yeah.
One person showing up is a success.
8 of them were my friends.
Okay. So, hey, it doesn't matter. They were there.
So, 7 people really, in reality, strangers. But I remember being in that moment on that stage, and I had exercises for them, right? Like I have in my book. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I felt alive, you know? And I'm like, how can I expand on this? How can I capitalize on this? And how can I move this forward? So my second event, what I decided to do was bring other people, other speakers, and Millionaire Mentor, who at the time had 3 million followers. He became one of the speakers, so he was promoting on his Instagram.
Using everyone's network to, wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then
leverage.
So then the second event had 120 people.
Wow.
So then
my goodness.
I kept doing all these for like 7-8 months, these events with them promoting it and other people promoting it. And at the time the event was free.
Okay.
You know, so we were, you know, obviously investing some money, but what my idea was to let me build rapport, let me build a name for myself. Deliver. Value. So then when it got to the time to charge, we had a meeting. I'm like, $15 a ticket. And I was so scared. Oh my God.
Nervous, yeah.
Oh my God. People aren't going to show up. So what ended up happening is the people who wanted it for free, the ones who were coming to eat for free, to drink for free, those started to dwindle.
Exactly.
Right? And then when I raised it to $30 a ticket, then I was scary again. Because at this point, I was like, I want to quit medical sales completely, and I'm not going to quit it by $30 ticket or $15 ticket, right? So then, and then the freaking pandemic happens. Oof. And I'm like, oh. So after 4 months, we're in the middle of the pandemic. I said to myself, I'm not going to let my dream die. So what can I do in order to start doing events now, even though everything is closed?
Right.
So I started finding art galleries that everything was closed, so from the outside in, you can't see.
Yeah. Okay.
So I threw my first one, and 15 people showed up again.
Okay.
But this time I charged $50 a ticket, and people were paying it.
100%.
So then my second one, 30 people showed up. Then my third one, 40 people showed up. Then I was like, I'm raising these tickets. So I started charging $147 a ticket.
Okay.
And $197.
This was still in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When everything else was still closed down.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, but then January, not this January, the one before.
2021.
That's when I was like, okay, $147 a ticket, $197 a ticket. And then I did this by myself, but I had built so much rapport that people already knew the Epic Talks name. People wanted to connect, people, you know. And now I have a private membership, so it's an exclusive platform now.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the logistics that went into some of the decisions you made. Because when you went from $15 a ticket to $30 ticket, that's a 100% increase. Obviously that made you nervous.
Yeah.
But what was the motivation to do it? Like, you were trying to weed out individuals who weren't really participating, or like, what was the motivation behind it?
I wanted people who were more serious and people who were, you know, I'm ready to invest in myself to really learn. And they were just really committed to what was being said on stage. Okay. Because some people were just coming there to, Epic Talks brings a beautiful crowd, right?
Absolutely.
Some men come there for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
And they won't pay $200 a ticket to just come and meet girls. They'd rather just go and spend that money at the bar. So that was my thought process, because, you know, I'm bringing in speakers like Craig Studniski, the president of Related ISG, you know, Kobe Karp, the most famous architect in the world, you know, names like this, Ola Alverson, you know, it's the names are just mind-blowing who come to Epic Talk stage.
Yeah. So the dollar value, I mean, they're drastically underpaying for the value you're still delivering.
I mean, I could charge $500 a ticket if I wanted to, but I know my audience and I trust that where I'm at is good for now.
We'll get you there soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. When you look at where you are right now with Epic Talks, because that's your primary focus at this point.
Yes. And the inner circle.
And this private group,
group
that you have within it. So tell me a little bit about the differences between the two. So you have Epic Talks. What is the inner circle version of it?
So you have Epic Talks, the monthly events. So you come in and network. You know, you have food, you have drinks, 1 hour of networking, 1 hour of speakers, and then another hour of more networking, especially with the speakers. So you have that. The inner circle, you get bonuses, right? The inner circle includes dinners once a month, right? Where people come, like myself and, you know, and everyone that's here, you know, high-level executives and entrepreneurs, they come to break bread together. Let's get more personal. How can I support you? who would be the best person that I can introduce you to, right? And we do different exercises, kind of like masterminding.
Wonderful.
And it's very powerful.
Oh,
and
definitely.
then after the appetizer, I have them switch and sit next to somebody they've never sat before.
So it's sort of like speed dating, but on a slower version with networking.
With entrepreneurs.
I love it. I love it.
And then during the dessert, we'll switch again as well. There's also adventures. Okay. So Epic Talks Adventures. On Saturday, we're going skydiving.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I love that.
2 months ago, we were jet skiing and boating.
Okay.
We have mega yacht masterminds. Also, you get an opportunity to be featured on my radio show. That way you have content for yourself, for your business.
So a significant amount of value.
A significant amount of value. Like,
wow.
People have found the love of their life. 2 of my inner circle members, I just launched it 5 months ago. 2 of them, one of them has made $180,000 just from the Epic Talks.
From the connections.
Yeah, the connections, and the other one, $360,000.
Wow.
And I have other people doing deals now with Craig Stanisky in Costa Rica.
Right. Okay.
So it's just like, again, one connection away.
Connection.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Yeah. Now, what gave you the idea to go into the Inner Circle program? Like, what sparked that idea for you to do that?
I knew I wanted more.
Okay.
Because I had people telling me, oh, I wish you did Epic Talks more. And I'm like, well, I can't throw these events more than once because it's a lot.
Yes.
But how about if I connected more with people? Because I have people reaching out to me all the time. Can I take you out to lunch? Can I take you out to dinner? Well, if you want to take me out and you want my time, join the Inner Circle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what sparked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, looking forward, where do you see this going over the course of the next 5 years, let's say?
I want this to be in major cities. I've been asked to take it, to Dubai, New York City, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Austin. And what I would like is to basically have different chapters and different leaders running those chapters.
Almost like a franchise?
Yes.
Or you still being corporate and just having
almost like a franchise, yeah.
Okay.
I wish I could split myself into 10 different people, right? But I can't.
Well, so I'm just curious. I mean, because I'm always interested in business ideas and strategy. Like, have you thought about figuring out a way to layer teams so that you could still have it under one umbrella without franchising it out, or is it that?
Well, I would have to look for other leaders in other cities. My only thing is that I really care about the reputation.
Oh, 100%.
And you really, really have to find someone who is, all about integrity. For me, my word is my law, and people get treated like respect. Somebody who believes in the brand, somebody who really genuinely cares about people and helping them succeed. Someone who doesn't have ego, because with all this limelight, people can, their ego can just rise with them, right? And that's what I'm looking for, people who genuinely care about humanity and helping them get to the next level.
Okay. So what do you think's holding you back from that stage at this point?
Nothing's really holding me back right now. I'm just looking to make sure I have all my duckies in a row here. It's still a baby. I restarted it a year and a half ago. So I'm just making sure that everything is smooth sailing here.
Have you established SOPs for your actual events themselves? Like, do you have a
so definitely everything like a blueprint for the way you run Epic Talks. Yeah.
Okay, so realistically speaking, now it's just you finding the right team.
Exactly.
Members. Okay.
Yeah.
When you look back now over the course of your life, obviously you've gone through a lot of evolution. One of the things I try to help other business owners to do is to say, okay, do X and you'll get this result. Do Y, you get this result. So I sort of try to come up with a roadmap for them to follow. And I don't know, the audience is going to be at all different levels of their financial journey, their business journey, whatever it is. I don't know exactly where they are, but I'm certain that some of them have been where you've been. And if you were able to go back in time, knowing what you know now, go back in time to sit down with yourself and have a conversation, what if you had 1 to 3 things that you would share with the younger version of you?
Yeah.
What would that discussion be like?
Stop wasting time with the wrong people.
Okay.
Stop giving your power away. and nothing has meaning but the meaning you give it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
When you look at the future version of you, okay, because now we've gone back and had a conversation. What do you think the future version of you would come to tell you right now?
Focus 100%. Okay. Eliminate every single distraction. Focus, focus, focus. And your butt in the chair. That's what's going to create results. And for right now, I'm result driven. Like, I want to see results. You know, I mean, I was sharing with Stephanie a couple days ago. I'm like, it's time to level up, you know, because a year ago I was wishing I was where I am now. Mm-hmm. What if I put like 100%, you know, 200%, where am I going to be in another year from now?
But what are those habits? So I like to say that where you are right now is literally the result of the habits that you've had over the course of the past 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Because it takes time to get to where you are now. And
yeah.
It's the habits, the routines, the things that you're doing. So what are the habits that you need to put in place in order to get you to that next level?
Eliminate distractions. Living in Miami and living where I live in Brickell, you know, there's always something going on. Oh, yes. Always. There's someone always inviting you out, you know, to happy hour to catch up, or, you know, hey, we're going on a yacht today. You want to come?
Right.
We're going to go jet skiing. You know, it's not like stuff that is like boring.
No, this is fun stuff. Fun distractions. Fun distractions.
So what would that look like if for 6 months straight, I said no to all of that? You know, I'm going to definitely 10X my productivity.
Oh, 100%.
You know, sometimes the entrepreneurship journey can feel lonely. Doesn't matter how many people you have, but I live by myself. You know what I mean? I work from home. I spend a lot of time in my computer. So when I hear a little distraction, ding, 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 ding,
yep, that's the bell ringing.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
No, stay.
The sun looks beautiful today.
So I'm getting, you know, for the next 6 months, like, my word is focus.
Okay, I like that. And that'll be our mantra as well. Focus for the next 6 months.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today. I know it's been extremely valuable for me, and I'm confident it's valuable for the rest of the audience. If you had one other piece of advice for the audience themselves, like, what would you want to share with them before they have an opportunity to sign off on today's episode?
Make sure that you honor every step of your journey. Wherever you're at, honor it. Don't be comparing yourself to other people. Don't be wishing that you were somewhere else or you had more money. Honor where you're at so you can get to the next level. So once you honor where you're at, get specific on where you want to go, and write a roadmap to make it happen.
Wonderful, because we're all about up-leveling here.
Yeah.
Up-leveling, excellent.
Up-leveling, yeah.
So how can the audience find out more about you and connect with you after this episode? What's the easiest way?
Instagram, Melitsa Waage, Melitsa Waage. Also the Epic Talks Miami Instagram. My website, melitsa.com. If you want to attend an Epic Talks event, it happens at the last Wednesday of the month. You could go to epictalks.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, send me a DM on IG.
I'm confident you're going to continue to get tons and tons of DMs on this, because it's such an amazing platform. I love the story. I'm looking forward to participating. This is going to be wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I got a lot of value out of it. I'm sure everyone else did as well. So thank you. So guys, if you have not done so already, make sure you pull out your phone, go onto Instagram, make sure you follow her and follow Epic Talks Miami as well. And thank you so much for investing some time with us today to learn vicariously through others who have been where you are currently and have made it through to the other side.
Yes.
I wish you well in your journey. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.